Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Confidence Mindset with Amanda. And in this video, I want to start the new year off by explaining why you should always be thinking big when you are manifesting. So when you have particular desires, which we all have particular desires, we have specific things that we want to manifest with specific amount of numbers or specific people or specific events that we want to experience in our life. Now, we have the affirmations for the specific thing, but how we manifest really is keeping our thoughts on what it is that we want to experience. So we're keeping our thoughts on the thing that we want to experience, which is the desire, but throughout the day is your thought process. So you're basically changing your whole thoughts into the thought process of the person who has what it is that you want, because you do have what it is that you want. It's never particularly about the desire that it is that you're manifesting. And so this is why there's no difference to manifesting €20 to €200 to €20,000, because if you're manifesting a specific amount of money, you're still coming from the same mindset. So let's say, for example, you don't have any money at all, but you want to manifest maybe, I don't know, 20 grand or something like that, and you don't have any money, and it's going to be just as hard to manifest €20 as 20 grand if you're not keeping your thoughts on being wealthy, on being rich, and doing this all day long. Now, when you are doing this as well too, you want to be reminding yourself that we're never really supposed to be kind of checking the 3D. I know it can be difficult sometimes when we are looking at the 3D and it's not reflecting back to us what it is that we want. But every time we look to the 3D, it's like we are looking outside for somebody to give us permission to believe that we are entitled or worthy and deserving of having what it is that we want. So in these moments, if you feel like you want to check the 3D, stop yourself and say to yourself, well, hang on a second, I have what it is that I want. Whose permission am I looking for? I only need my own permission to believe in myself and to believe that I can have what it is that I want. And the more you do this, and then when you are looking at the 3D, I would suggest that you would distract yourself more. It's more about distracting yourself than detaching from what it is that you're manifesting, because when we're manifesting particular desires, we're manifesting them because we want to experience them. So how are we supposed to ever detach from it if we're always going to be wanting to experience it? So it's not so much about learning to detach and let go and all that kind of thing. It's about changing your thought process and distracting yourself away from the 3D, knowing that the 3D is going to reflect your 4D, which is in your mind, as you continue to keep your thoughts on what it is that you want, if that makes sense. So when we are manifesting particular desires, remember to always think big, because if you are manifesting for, let's say, for example, you're manifesting a specific person, maybe you want a relationship with them, but you're sitting there and you're kind of manifesting for a text or whatever it is that you're manifesting, communication, or to bump into them, or whatever it is that you're doing. But you could spend all your time affirming for this one thing, and then eventually it will happen, but then you're going to go on and you're going to be affirming then for the relationship, if that's what it is that you want. So why not start with the desire of having the relationship, and then just using your thought process throughout the day, training your thought process to be this person who is wanted, desired, loved, chosen, prioritized, all of the thought processes that you would have if you were in a relationship with who you wanted to be with. It's the same thing for money as well too. So let's say, for example, you are affirming for money to come into your reality, and you notice that you're maybe stressing or whatever it is about money. It's the same thing. It's like you have to retrain your mind to just come from the mindset of someone who is wealthy, who has what it is that they want. And in those moments, if the 3D is not reflecting it back, you just say to yourself, well, you're creating it all within your mind anyway, so all you have to do is just distract yourself. You say to yourself, I only need my own permission to believe that this is my story. And so if I only need my own permission, well, then why am I checking? There's no need for me to check because I already have it. I'm giving myself the permission. And as you do that, and then you distract yourself, just distract yourself with anything. Like, it can be reading a book, or it can be watching a film, or just distracting yourself from the whole outside of what is going on, because eventually you will never need to look for your manifestation. Your manifestation will come to you and it will show up in your reality, and because you're keeping your thought process on it, it's gonna come to you. You're gonna see it straight away, and there it's going to be, and that's how it's going to be. It's not like you're kind of, when you're creating it in your mind, it's not like you're creating it, and then you stop, and then you look to your 3D and say, oh, it's not here, and then you go on this whole thing of what am I doing wrong and all these type of things. No, that's not the way it is, because you're never doing anything wrong. It's like your whole life has been manifested through the way you have been thinking through your whole life, and you never had to do anything or try or do anything. Everything just manifested for you. And so when you are consciously manifesting, it's simply just finding the focus and the discipline to not look for outside validation, but to be able to retrain your thought process into the mindset of the person who has what it is that they want. And the more you do this, the better that it will become. Now, I know that it can be difficult if the 3D's not reflecting back to us what it is that we want to see straight away. But to understand, as I said before, sometimes there can be time. I'm not saying that there is. I mean, you can affirm that everything is instant for you, and the more you affirm that, then the more you'll start to see evidence of that, and then you'll start to believe it, and then other things will become instant for you. But however, if it is taking a little bit of time, it's to recognize that as you continue to keep your thoughts on what it is that you want, it's going to change, because there can be no other way. It's like, as I said before, if you think in the negative way and you continue to think in that way, things will always pop up to show you and confirm to you that this is the way life is for you. And so when you know this anyway, because when you get into conscious manifesting, you want to change that whole dynamic, and it's because you have to change your whole mindset basically, and change your thoughts into what it is that you want. So you could have one affirmation that you could be affirming for, and that could be the only thing that you're affirming for. But as long as you are keeping your thoughts on what it is that you want, so it's not about sitting down and affirming for like 20 minutes or so and then getting up and then thinking to yourself, okay, I affirmed, it's still not here, it's not here. It has to be like a lifestyle change, and that's why getting into mindset work is probably the best. Well, for me anyway, from my own experience, it was the best way anyway, because it just gives you the kind of discipline and the focus to know that it's you that has all the control. It's you that has all the it's you that has the awareness of what it is that's going on, and anything that comes into your awareness, like if it's a person or whatever it is that comes into your awareness, and they come into your awareness as maybe a desired person, maybe you want to have a relationship or whatever with them, it's to discipline yourself to know that they came into your awareness. So if they came into your awareness, it's up to you to see them in a way that is desirable for you, while all the while continuing with your mindset, continuing with keeping your thoughts on what it is that you want, distracting yourself when you have to, living your life, enjoying yourself, knowing that everything does unfold as your thought process becomes that, because it can be no other way. Because if you're thinking a certain way, your subconscious mind has to show you evidence of this. It has to show up in your reality to prove to you that you're right. So if you continue to think this way, even as I said before, if you continue to think away and then you actually question it, but you've thought about it so much, your subconscious mind will even go the other way and say, like that, let's say for example, you are affirming, I always get what I want, I always get what I want, I always get what I want, and you've been affirming this for a while, and maybe if you affirm it for a couple of weeks or whatever, and then you say to yourself, I didn't get what I want there, or whatever it was, but your subconscious mind will have been ingrained with that belief. It will actually bring to you whatever it is that you were affirming in that moment to prove to you that you do always get what you want. And that's kind of the way it will work as well too. So it's never about worrying about negative thoughts. It's about catching your negative thoughts, accepting that all they are is just thoughts, and that you have the power to retrain them. You have the power to accept them and let them go, and then to continue on with thinking the way you want to think, with the mindset of knowing that as you continue to do this, you're forming that physicality that's going to show up in your world. So the only thing that really would kind of stop it coming in a you know in a short amount of time is kind of checking the treaty, checking for validation. Because every time we check for validation, we're looking outside of us for something that we're creating within. So if we're creating it within, why would we be looking outside of us? Because it doesn't make any sense. And so the mind's not going to be able to the mind's not even going to be able to fathom that as well too, because it's like, okay, hang on a second, are we creating this or what are we doing? Why are we questioning it? So it stops then in that moment, but that's okay, because then we can get back on it. And it's just really about just telling ourselves and giving ourselves the permission to believe in ourselves, because really we don't need anyone else's permission to believe in ourselves and to believe that we can create the life that we want by thinking about the thought process that we want. And so it's just really about redirecting thoughts anytime that you can to thoughts that you would have as this person who has what it is that you want. And then, as I say about the desire, it doesn't matter how big it is or how small it is, because it's the thought process of the person who has it. So let's say, for example, you want to manifest as I say, if you want to manifest €1 million, but you don't have any money at all, it's going to be just as hard to manifest €20 as it is €1 million if you don't have the right mindset of continuing to be wealthy. If you get what I mean. So it's like when you are manifesting, thought process and everything you want. And when I say thought process, I don't mean just one affirmation. I mean, like, if I'm rich and I'm manifesting €1 million, then what thoughts am I going to be having? I'm going to be thinking thoughts of, God, I'm so free, I can buy anything I want, whatever I want, I never have to check the label, I can go to any place that I want, I can literally just get on a plane now and go to any country I want. What will I do for the weekend? Maybe I'll go to Paris, maybe I'll go to Italy. And it's a continuous thought process of this. Now, at first, if you do start to do that type of thing, it can feel a little foreign, but it's the more, as you continue to do this, and then you do that throughout the day, and then maybe you have a few minutes of saying to yourself, I am so rich, I make €1 million a year, I'm so rich, I make €1 million a year. You say a few minutes of that, but then throughout the day, it's like, what is the mind? It's like if you think about Elon Musk and Warren Buffett and all of these men who are like the richest men in the world, you know, think about a day in their life. You know, how are they thinking? I know from reading up on Warren Buffett and that he lives his life through the stock market, because that is what he loves. And so he gets up and does whatever he does in his day, but he reads like 500 pages of the finances and the business section of papers, and he really just saturates his whole mind in this whole identity that he has for himself. And that's what he does as his thought process. So he may be the richest man in the world and he keeps his thought process on the money, but it's not even about spending the money. It's about the thought process of what it is to be a rich person. And it's the same thing for relationships, same thing for anything. It's the thought process of what it means to have what it is that you want. So think big. So it's 2023. So spend the year thinking big and think to yourself, well, it's not about the desire. It's about how my thought process is going throughout the day. So basically, I can manifest anything that I want, which is true. You can like, if you are thinking that that you're manifesting €100,000, why not think to yourself, well, hang on, I can manifest €1 million, so that's just as easy. All I have to do is continue to keep my thought process on the person who has what it is that they want as this rich person. And then I can come in with my specific affirmations for my specific desires. And the more you do this, the more your mind will be open, your eyes will be open to opportunities that will lead you to certain ways to make money along the way. And as you continue to make money along the way, you will notice that you will be led to the desire of making €1 million or whatever it is that you are manifesting in your reality. So I just wanted to make a quick video on that, and I will chat to you soon.